This is I'm Joshua Montero, and I'm interviewing William Aldridge. What war were you in?
World War II.
What was your branch of service?
In the Air Force, Air Corps it was called, Army Air Corps in those days.
What was your rank?
My what?
Your rank.
My what?
Your rank.
Rank technical sergeant, tech sergeant.
Where did you serve?
Where did I serve?
Yes.
Wow, a lot of places.
Many places?
Where did I serve? Well, you mean the United States? Well, I was in Europe, in England, in the 8th Air Force, 92nd Bomb Group. But otherwise, I was in the States the rest of the time.
Okay. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted January 10th, 1942.
Where were you living at the time?
My what?
Where were you living at the time?
254 Fairfield Avenue in Hartford, Connecticut.
Why did you join?
Why did I go in? Well, it was right after Pearl Harbor, and I was only 21. I would have been drafted if I didn't enlist, so I enlisted so I could be in the Air Corps rather than be drafted into the infantry.
Do you recall your first days of service?
What I want?
Could you tell me about your first few days of service?
My first 2 days?
Your first few.
Tell you about my first few days?
Yes.
Oh, I went to Fort Devens first, and I was there for 4 days. Then I was shipped to Jefferson Barracks, Missouri, where I did my basic training. And then in March of '42, I went to Chinook Field, Illinois, for my airplane and engine mechanic school. You want more?
No, that's good. That's good. That's all right. Did you have any training experiences or boot camp or anything?
You gotta talk louder.
Did you go to boot camp or any training?
Yeah, Jefferson Barracks. That's where I was sent first from Fort Devens in Massachusetts. I went to Jefferson Barracks.
Do you remember your instructors?
My instructors' names? No. They were mainly PFCs and buck sergeants, corporals.
Did you see combat at all?
Yeah, I flew 25 missions in one of those B-17s there. Top turret gunner.
Do you remember the specific locations where you went? Do you remember where did you go? Where you bombed? Where you went?
Still don't hear.
Do you remember where you went on your bombing missions? Do you remember a few of
25
them?
missions? I got them all written down there, but gee, I can't tell you. I got a million books there.
That's okay. We could see that. We could see that a little bit later. Did you see any planes get shot down?
Yeah.
Any?
Saw plenty of them. I shot down one myself. It was too hard to claim them because we were flying in formation and so many guns were shooting at the same plane that they didn't know who to give credit to, so they gave you a probable. I got credit for one because I was sure I shot that one down.
Could you tell me about some of your memorable experiences?
Oh hell, I have a lot of them. Well, the one that I remember mainly was the Schweinfurt mission of August 17, 1943. We lost 60 bombers that day, and we were lucky to get back. But the worst experience I had was on my 25th mission You did 25 missions in that time, and then you were eligible to go home. And on our 25th mission, when we got back to England, we couldn't land because it was covered with fog, and we flew around for about an hour. And finally, we had one propeller was feathered at the time because it lost oil pressure. And we're flying around, and all I got to do is get on the ground. I'm all through. And we finally got on the ground, and it was an air base that we had first been at, and the runway was all ice, and we did a 380 ground loop at the end of the runway to keep them going off.
Were you ever a prisoner of war?
No.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
Yeah, I got a few of them. I'll tell you, probably I got the Distinguished Flying Cross. It's my best medal. And I got the Air Medal, 4 Air Medals. I get the Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, Presidential Unit Citation, and then I have a flock of the other ones, the European Theater Ribbon, the American Theater, World War II Victory Medal, and the Good Conduct Medal.
Were you ever injured during the war? Were you ever injured during the war?
No.
Is
this being all recorded?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Did you stay in touch with your family at the time?
Did I what?
Stay in touch with them? Did you call them or write to them?
I still didn't get you.
Did you call your family or talk to them during the war at all?
Oh, yeah. Not when I was overseas. I couldn't do that. But I called them many times.
As much as you could? As much as you could?
As much as I could.
Did you call them as much as you could whenever you had a chance?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem. You had to get on the phone, pay for it, of course. Long distance. I was always stationed quite a few miles away from home. I was stationed at Southern Air Bases, mostly before I went overseas, and when I came back, I was stationed at MacDill Field, and then Lockbourne Air Base in Columbus, Ohio, and then I went Greenville, Mississippi, and that was the last time. I got married down there, and then I came home to Westover Field and got discharged from there.
Could you describe the food that you ate? What was it like? The food that you had during the war? The food that you had during the war?
Food?
Yeah.
Most places it was excellent. I can remember one place where it wasn't so good, and most places where the food wasn't good, they'd have an officer at the door, so you couldn't dump half a tray of food away. They made you go back and eat it. But that was only at places where the food was lousy. They didn't like you throwing it away.
Did you have plenty of supplies? During the war?
Was I what?
Did you have plenty of supplies?
Plenty of supplies? Like what?
Like for your aircraft, like fuel and stuff. Did you ever have to like wait for fuel or had any problems?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Alright, we could just skip that question.
Yeah, you can talk louder than that, can't you?
Did you ever feel pressure or stress during the war?
Oh, all the time.
Was there anything special you did for good luck?
For good luck? I prayed. So did a lot of guys.
How did you entertain yourself when you were not flying a plane?
What did I do when I wasn't flying?
Like, how did you entertain yourself? How did everyone
Entertain myself? Gee, go to town, go to a bar, meet girls.
Could you name some of the places that you traveled during the war? Just a few of
Yeah.
them.
Well, I went to St. Louis, Missouri, Rantoul, Illinois, Spokane, Washington, Blythe, California, Pio, Texas, El Paso, Texas. Yeah, there's a number of them.
Do you recall any funny event happening? Maybe with your friends or anything during the war?
Did I lose any?
No, did you?
Oh, did I have a lot of friends?
No, did you have any funny moments with them, with your friends during the war?
Funny moments?
Yeah. Any happy, funny moments?
Oh, I had a lot of good times. I couldn't describe them, but I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of friends. You always had a lot of friends because you lived with them all the time.
Did you pull any pranks on your friends, or did they pull any on you?
No, no.
Did you keep a personal diary during the war?
The what?
Did you keep a personal diary?
All personal values?
Diary.
Diaries? No, no.
Do you remember the day that your service ended?
Yeah, October 23rd, 1945.
Where were you on that day?
On that day, I was at Fort Devens, I think is where I got my discharge. Yeah, Fort Devens, Massachusetts. That's where I got my discharge from.
What did you do in the days afterward, after you got discharged?
After, I went back to work where I worked prior to the war at the Hartford Accident and Indemnity Company. Today it's the Hartford Financial Company. I went back to work there as an automobile underwriter, but I only stayed there 4 years.
Did you make any close friendships while in service? Did you make any good friends while in service?
Oh yeah, I lost a lot of good friends too. I got pictures of them. Yeah, I had a lot of good friends. I don't think I had any enemies.
Did you continue any of the relationships with your friends after the war that you met during the war? Did you keep in touch with them?
Oh yeah. Yeah, one especially is our right waist gunner, Charlie Fasoulis. He lived in Lowell, Mass. I kept in touch with him all the time. Plus there were other guys too. In fact, my original pilot that I trained with, Wayne Bogart, my wife and I went out to see him in California in 1985. I was retired then, but I kept in touch with him by phone, and we went out and saw him for 10 days in 1985.
Did you join a veterans organization?
Yeah, I belong to the VFW Post 2, Hartford 254.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
About the war?
Do you have different feelings about the war now that you saw war?
Oh no. No, it was something that had to be done. I mean, Germany was, well, you know, I've read more about the war since the war than when you were in the war. But today it's, I don't know, it was absolutely necessary at the time, I know that. And
Did you ever attend any reunions with your old friends from the war?
what?
Did you ever attend a reunion?
Oh yeah, I went to McDill Field, Tampa, Florida in 1986. Went to St. Louis, Missouri. Went to Dayton, Ohio. They were different 92nd Bomb Group reunions. They have them every 2 years. I haven't been though now since 1989. That's the last time I went. 1986, I think it was. Yeah, 86 I went down to Tampa. That's the last one I went to. But I still get newsletters from them. In fact, there's one right there. There's a bunch of them up on there too.
How did your your experiences in the war change your life?
That changed my life?
Yeah, did the experiences change your
I
life?
don't know. Yeah, I guess it did, but I don't know. It changed my life. No, I don't think so. Oh, I don't know. I guess it did. Gee, it would have to. I mean, if it didn't go in a service, it'd be just ordinary life, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
Is there anything you'd like to add that we have not covered in this interview?
No, I don't think so. Pretty well covered it.
Anything in particular?
Of course, it's the main thing of my life. I mean, it took 45 months to go through that period. That's almost 4 years spent in the service that I could have been doing something else, but I'm proud that I went in when I did and did what I did.
I believe that is all. Is there anything else you would like to add or anything? Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so.
Any battle or anything you want to talk about?
After you're gone, I'll think of a million things.
Okay. We're done. Just hit the button again.